All right, I've got 6:30. So we'll go ahead and call to order the February 3rd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Can we get a roll call, please?
Ahern.
Here.
Bathke.
Here.
Janeezer.
Here.
Mickelson.
Here.
Schmierbach. Willer.
Here.
Yachty.
Here. Great. Up first is approval of the agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Wonderful. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Agenda approved. Moving on to item number 3, public comment on any topic not on the agenda. Do we have any public comment? Okay. Moving on to item number 4, a preliminary subdivision plat. We'll start with the staff presentation.
Okay, thank you. So here is this is a preliminary subdivision plat. I think I wrote 41 or 42 lots. It's actually 51 lots. Thank you, Lacey. This property is located on the north side of West Forever Green Road, just a bit west of Covered Bridge Road. A large piece of property we just considered, or you considered the rezoning at the last hearing. So this is the subdivision plat coming forward. I kind of showed on the left-hand side what the rezonings, so there's an asterisk, so it's RS6, RD10, and RM14 and C2, and I made an asterisk. It's currently being considered by the City Council, so you're considering this request as if the property is rezoned. That property first reading was approved. We anticipate that third reading will be approved at the end of this month. So you're considering it as it's rezoned. The future land use map was approved at the first reading, so it's currently urban low intensity, urban medium intensity, which is urban low is the light yellow, the urban medium is the tan, and then the urban high intensity is kind of that orange color. And so the zonings, as proposed, are consistent with the future land use map. Here is the preliminary plat. You saw the concept, we call it a concept at the rezoning, so not much has changed. You still have St. Andrews coming in kind of at the central part of the property and then going northeast and terminating at the property toward the northeast, connections with roads, but a small number of single-family homes, a fair amount of duplex lots, we call them 0 lots, and then some RM14, which could be townhouses or multifamily, and then a pocket in the middle of C2, which could allow for some multifamily or perhaps expanding the commercial uses, some ancillary uses like parking or something like that along there. Just showing a couple other pages. On the left is the property to the south. And just showing that because some of the sanitary sewer comes down onto the adjacent property. It's under a similar ownership group, comes to the south and then goes into the subdivision there. What's the name of that? Fox Valley. Fox Valley, thank you. Fox Valley subdivision. So we've looked at that. We think it'll work. Josiah loves to talk about sanitary sewer flows. So if you have any questions pertaining to that, he's here. And then on the right is just a preliminary grading plan. We think that a lot of this will have to get built kind of together and not be like small phases, just because you can't have more than 30 units without having 2 accesses if it's a non-sprinkler building. So, we anticipate a lot of those roads will have to be constructed early on. Similar to, I just included the same objection that we had with the rezoning. We did have that good neighbor meeting on December 18th. We had the one person object. And that was just really based on noise, which isn't really, I think, an objection to the preliminary plat or the rezoning, but nevertheless, we included in the public material. And just to kind of reiterate some things, St. Andrews Boulevard is a pretty major collector road that will go through basically through our entire community, actually extend north of Penn. It shows the location there on West Forever Green Road. And then on the right-hand side is the land use plan in Coralville, so it actually goes into Coralville all the way down to Highway 6. So it's a pretty major road. We've looked at that area as potential location for a roundabout. We think that would be a good location. Could be signalized depending, but it might be a good opportunity for kind of a pretty nice roundabout, just because it'll be kind of an entryway into kind of two communities there. And again, we had MMS kind of look at like, well, okay, as the roads terminate to the east, it connects up to Planned Street to the west, and that's fine. Actually, existing street to the west, and Planned Street to the north there. And, how do these roads line up with the overall development pattern in the area? MMS is working on the Mickelson to the very far east. And in the center here is just kind of land that's owned by an individual who really hasn't had say in this, but generally we're looking at do these roads generally line up and form a logical development pattern, and we think it does. So we were generally okay with how these roads terminated to the east property line. We do have two findings. The preliminary subdivision plat would facilitate development consistent with future land use map designations, and the preliminary subdivision plat would achieve consistency with subdivision standards. And the staff recommends the Planning Commission accept those two listed findings and forward the request to City Council with the recommendation for approval. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Do we have an applicant presentation?
Lacey Stutzman with MMS Consultants here on behalf of SST Forever Green and SST North Liberty. Russ did a good job hitting all the points, so I don't have a ton for you. I will note, because you mentioned construction timeline, they're not planning to phase this, so they'd like to complete construction in 2026 and have pad-ready lots ready in the fall. And I believe they're working with local builders, home builders, for the single-family and the duplex lots. Perfect.
Thank you. All right, any public comment? Okay, any questions or comments?
I do have, Russ, just to clarify. So Alexander, that would get signalized, assuming that it's going to line up with what happens on the other side of Forever Green, or is that? Yeah,
we already worked with Coralville, kind of talked to them. We think that this is the location of where the street will be on both sides. So we think this is the major intersection. It's actually our jurisdiction on the south side, so you can see that light colored just on the south side. So that's actually North Liberty. You go a little bit further south, not too far south, but just a little bit, quarter section, I believe it is. Then you get into that Coralville area. But we've had preliminary conversations with Coralville about, does this look right? Josiah did a great job of kind of looking at that location and making sure we were having adequate spacing. And so this is kind of the spot that early on when we did the rezoning, I think it was a couple years ago, we kind of landed in it. This would be adequate spacing to Julia and to cover Bridge Road. None of these lots in the front would have direct access to Forever Green. It would come off of this St. Andrews and then along the back there. So we feel good about this location. It may move a little bit, but we feel good that this is the right spot.
Sure. Until such time that street would go through on the south side, would it be restricted, Alexander, would you be able to get in going east or west regardless?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. When we looked at that, we looked at this as being full intersection without any, medians or right in, right outs. Yep. And I don't think it's a little too early to tell whether this would be signalized or roundabout. We just think with what is forthcoming, it's eventually going to be there. But roundabouts just move traffic so well. But they are expensive. I mean, they're both expensive. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'd enter,
Barry took my question. So.
Okay.
And just kind of, just to tell you, on On the east side is where we felt we needed to hold the line for single family. So good mix of duplex and higher density. And, there's a 8-foot wide trail planned on the west side of Alexander Way. So you want to try and limit the number of individual home lots that are fronting on there, just because we'll usually come in and plow those and ultimately push them on people. So, that sets it up for, it's better to have townhouse or multifamily along there, or something a little high density that doesn't have individual driveways along that street. So that made a lot of sense to us. And then along the east side, having RS6 there to single family to transition to that center lot that I think probably would make sense to be primarily single family aside from mixes. The Michelson development to the east has, a good mix of some two family and single family, but it just seems to make sense that as those areas come in from those major roads to be kind of in that middle, kind of a single family development. So that's kind of the overall vision that we're thinking.
So did I miss something, or are they all single family?
No, so this will be, let's see.
Go back to that.
So you can see the yellow on the east side.
Yeah.
Those are the single family lots. The orange would be the two family.
Okay.
And then the purple would be the RM14, which is more your townhouse or multifamily. And then the red, or the pink, I guess in this case, would be most likely commercial development along Forever Green Road. And then it kind of extends a little bit further. That could be, we also allow multifamily and commercial, so it could be those. But so this has got a decent mix of housing types here.
Okay.
You want to entertain a recommendation or a motion?
I'll move that the Planning Commission accept the two listed findings and forward the preliminary subdivision plat to the City Council with a recommendation for approval.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Bathke,
Aye.
Mickelson,
Aye.
Willer,
Aye.
Ahern,
Aye.
Yadi,
Aye.
Janizer.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Moving on to item 5, approval of previous minutes. I don't know if there's any questions. If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the previous minutes.
I move to approve the previous minutes.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Previous minutes approved. Any planning updates?
I know these went so fast, so I've got another 45 minutes of, planning updates.
No.
I wouldn't want to sit anywhere.
Just, give me an opportunity to talk about what came in the door. I'm going to try and do this a little bit more. For March, we actually have 3 site plans for UCD, so kind of the fruits of the labor, so to speak. So this is kind of along Ranshaw Way, kind of at the northern end of the property. This would be a 12,000 square foot medical office. We're not quite ready to disclose who that is, but we are excited about it. The next one would be just to the south, and this is kind of that main entrance off of Ranshaw, but this is a 10,000 square foot commercial building just to the south of this, and to the southeast of this would be a 63-unit multifamily. So those will be for your review next month. So that's a good amount of that frontage there. So the drainage structure is in and pretty much done, and so the other things will get going this spring. So a lot of activity in the spring, which is really exciting. And it's difficult to read, but we did kind of an analysis toward the end of the year of kind of like what was our year-end review of building permits, and we were really blown away when we saw that we had permitted 455 residential units in North Liberty last year, which is crazy high. It's probably one of the highest. Some of the Emery Place over north of the Pizza Ranch is finishing up. Plus those Madison Avenue town or multifamily developments coming in, so that skewed the numbers for those. But that's quite a bit of number. That's that yellow line kind of going in there. But that just kind of shows you some of the numbers we've been having recently, and just kind of as I talk to builders and things, like today, it's just particularly he shared that just made sense. But, tariffs add a lot of money to these projects, and these projects get really, really expensive to build, which is, I hear consistently. So, but banner year for us. I think this year is going to be pretty busy as well.
Great.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn
I'll move to adjourn.
and a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.